welcome to part 2 of the question and answer session video and my answers to them. We're still here at Wolverton. It's still a fantastic, lovely, sunny day, but let's get right into it. Next question comes in from Train Hub, who asks, what is your favourite British high-speed train? It would probably, like I said, either be Intercity 125, 225 or the Pendolino. Next question comes in from Xavier X Train Spotter, who asks, when do you record on Sunday or other days? So I record on Sundays most of the time when there's something special coming through or where the service pattern allows a certain type of train. A good example of this was Ashchurch for Tewkesbury, which I filmed at because I wanted to see the high-speed trains, Great Western high-speed trains. They don't normally appear on weekdays, so the only time you get to see them on that route out towards Worcester is on a Sunday. So that was the main reason for that. Most of the time I film on weekdays though, or Saturdays, which Saturdays is quickly becoming one of the busier times of the week. So hopefully that answers your question, Xavier. Thank you very much. So next question comes in from Trains with Johnny, who asks, can I please know how long it takes to make your videos, and once again congrats on 10,000 subscribers. Thank you very much, Johnny. I've put a little bit of a thought into this question actually. So generally speaking, it takes around 2 to 3 hours to plan each video. That might seem excessive, but I put quite a lot of time into making sure that I'm at the right place at the right time. Around 3 hours to travel to a station. Obviously if it's local to me then that's going to be less, but I allow probably an hour and a half each direction to travel. It could be more, it could be less. Around 2 to 3 hours to film per station, just to make sure that I capture at least one of every train that comes through normally, and then that also allows me to catch quite a lot of freight as well. Around 1 to 2 hours capturing the information, as I mentioned before, noting down the information, what trains I saw, when, how early and late it was. Around 3 hours to edit the video. Again, if it's a 10-minute video, it could be a lot less. If it's a 30-minute, 45-minute, hour-long video, it could be a lot more. Probably an hour to 2 hours for checking and uploading the video. That's probably gets to around 10 to 14 hours per video. Again, like I said, that might seem quite excessive, but I really do put my heart and soul into every single video and making sure it's checked, correct, and entertaining every single time. But thanks so much for the question, Johnny. The next question comes in from Jamie O'Gilv, who asks, do you like the Pendolino and Mallard? Quite simply, yes I do. Next question comes in from East Coastway Rail Videos, who asks, what got you into videos at stations and what chose you into doing the design of when a train passes or stops, brackets, normally the bottom right where it says the head code and information about the train. So, as I previously mentioned about making the videos, it's just in my heart, in my soul, it's in my blood. It's something that I'm really interested in, I'm passionate about. So for me, that's what kind of got me into it, or got me back into it in 2012 anyway, when I did the video at Peterborough. The second part to this question, which is the design of the bottom right information, I call it the card, information card. I tried several different designs out. Compared to the previous style, which was around 2019 to 2020, it was quite bulky. I was looking for a style which was going to be quite symbolic for my channel, something that was very, on brand, but also something which was able to give all the information across in quite a simple, sleek, modern style, and was able to deliver efficiently and was easy to change as well. That's something that's not always appreciated. The amount of train operating companies in this country, the amount of movements and services that operate, it has to be quite flexible, and I think I've managed to get something that achieves all of that. So thanks for your question, East Coast Rail Videos. So the next question comes in from I'm a Person, who says, well done for 10k. Thank you very much. My questions are, what are your favourite 3 top stations in London to train spot at? I would probably have to say Clapham Junction, Denmark Hill and London Bridge. For me, it's a little bit of everything with all those stations. There are some others as well, like Paddington used to be pretty good before the Elizabeth line opened, and Stratford is quite good as well for freight, but generally it'd be those 3. Second part to your question, what are your top 3 favourite train classes? It's difficult to nail down 3 specific ones. I would probably have to say the HST, the 91 and the Class 37. The next question comes in from Our Trains UK, who asks, did you like the Payson trains, and well done on 10k. Thank you very much for the congratulations. Did you like Pacer trains? I wasn't a fan, if I'm honest. I definitely think the trains that have replaced them the Class 195s are much superior in just about every single way. And I think, to answer your question, did you like? I didn't like very much. Thanks for your question. The next question comes in from James Wright, who asks, question 1, what camera do you recommend people who wish to start filming videos like yours use? I would recommend, similar to what I said before, I'd recommend that you start with a mobile phone, since you've probably already got one of them. I definitely would not invest a large amount of money into an expensive camera or camcorder, since most of the time it's about the style of the video, the flair that you put on it. Like I said, yeah, I would definitely move up eventually, move up to a camcorder or to a GoPro or whatever you want to use. But since you've probably already got a mobile phone, I would actually start with that, to be honest. The second question is, if you could design a local or multiple unit for long distance travel over in non-electrified parts of the network, what would it be? For loco, I don't think the electrification in this country is used as much as it perhaps should be. I mean, you've seen behind me how many Voyagers are operating, and this is a fully electrified mainline. It would probably be a Class 66 with pantograph and then shoe gear for it to operate on third rail lines as well. For a multiple units, I think this largely already exists, but I definitely think that something like the Class 170 or an amalgamation of the 170 and the 357 would work really well for all different types of the network. But generally speaking, like I said, it depends what service it's going to operate, but if it's a mainline operation, an intercity operation, there's something similar to the Pendolino I think would work out really well. So thanks for your questions. Next question comes in from Intercity Express, who asks, how old were you when you first liked trains? It's going to sound cringy, but I would probably be about 5 or 6 at the time when I first liked trains. The point at which I could properly understand what they were and how they operated and everything like that. So thanks for your question, Intercity Express. Next question comes in from Old Black Cow, who asks, trains or tunnels? Trains! The next question comes in from Foxy Gaming, who asks, what was your favourite catch ever? It's a difficult one. I think all of my videos have got something interesting in. Well, most of them do anyway. The one that sticks in my head would probably be Watford Junction, because that was so unplanned for me. I'd literally just got some time at the end of my shift at work, so I just decided to pop down and do some filming. It was just by chance that the LMS Jubilee class Bahamas was coming through as well, and if you watch the video as well, the timing from the start until when I think the Class 47, empty stock Class 47 came through was just incredible. There were minutes in that. So for me, it would probably be Watford. Thanks for your question. The next question comes in from Traincraft, who asks, if you had to choose, what is your favourite station you have visited? Again, I think I've answered this one similar before. I really like Doncaster, and on the same line, I think Peterborough is also great. So for me, it would have to be one of those two. They're right up there with which one's best, because they've both got freight, they've both got variety. So that would be my answer. Thanks for your question, Traincraft. The next question comes in from DC89, who asks, congrats on 10k. What is your favourite stations on each of these TOCs? GA, Great Western Railway, Avanti West Coast, London Overground, South Eastern, LNER and Thameslink. So for me, I have noted down some of these because I'm forgetful, so I probably would have forgotten. So for me, I would say for Greater Anglia, Stratford is definitely the best. Great Western Railway, probably Bristol Temple Meads, as I previously mentioned. For Avanti West Coast, I would probably choose Rugby, although Crewe is also quite good for that as well. For London Overground, I haven't been to it, but I'm told that Highbury and Islington is really good for that. Or Willesden Junction, actually. For South Eastern, it's got to be London Bridge. For LNER, it's probably going to be Doncaster or Peterborough. And for Thameslink, I mean, it's just 700s, but it'll probably be Farringdon, to be honest. The architecture of the station is just fantastic. Hopefully that answers your question, DC89. Thank you very much. The next question comes in from Runes121, who asks, what is the best place you have been to when filming a video? Oh, there's so many. Most stations are good for one reason, but maybe not another. I think the overall best station that I've ever been to would be Clapham Junction. There's always something going on. And also there's plenty of shops as well, so you can grab a tea or something if you want that. Listen to how British I am. There's quite a few that are really good, but the overall best one, I think for me, has got to be Clapham Junction. It's always a blast. Next question comes in from Spectrum Trains, who says, "Hi Ross, once again, congrats." Thank you very much, sir. A couple of questions from me. Do you batch film, brackets multiple locations in one day? Question 2, how do you decide if a location is worthy of filming, or worth filming, or the best for the future? Do you batch film? Like I said, yes I do. I have to most of the time so that it makes the trip worthwhile. If I'm going to go all the way down to, you know, Brighton, for example, I'm going to have to film at least 2 videos to make the trip, the cost, the time worthwhile for me. So that's usually why I batch film. How do you decide if a location is worth filming? I feel like I'm a broken record, but the variety is quite important for my videos, for me personally. A lot of the time, if it's a station that has freight, that's quite interesting as well. But if none of those exist, then normally I'll try to plan the visit around like a Network Rail test train or a charter or something like that. Something that's, you know, different from the normal, just so that it at least piques people's interest to watch the video and everything like that. I plan the trips often with quite accurate precision, so I will make sure, for example, that if I'm going to a station, I'm able to see the fast lines correctly. But yeah, I hope that answers your question, Spectrum Trains, and once again, thanks for your questions. Next question is from Jess, who asks, what is your favourite line out of the Great Western Main Line, the West Coast Main Line and the East Coast Main Line? I think for overall variety, it's got to be the West Coast Main Line, as I previously mentioned. There's always a chance to catch a special, as you've seen here. I didn't plan this, and already we've seen a Tampa and 2 Class 720s. So definitely the West Coast Main Line. Thanks for your question, Jess. The next question comes in from Jake's Trains, who asks, what cameras have you used over the years? So I have had 3 main cameras over the years. I first started, unbelievably, it looks terrible now, but an iPhone 6 was my first recording device. If you watch the Peterborough video, that's the one that I recorded that with. The next one was a Panasonic SD80, I believe, which is a 1080p camera, and that was used pretty much until the first video I did at Cheddington with this camera. This camera, as I said previously, is a Panasonic HC VX1. This is actually the second Panasonic HC VX1 that I've had, and it continues to serve me well. So thanks for the question, Jake. West Coast Main Line, there's always something going on. Speak of the devil. The next question comes in from Officially Charles, who asks 2 questions. Congratulations on the milestone. Thank you very much. And will you ever spot at Herne Hill? I haven't done much investigation into Herne Hill. I know it's very close to Tools Hill, which I've previously filmed out last year. I'll definitely look at doing it. If it's got some good angles and I can plan it around maybe some specials or a charter. I know there's sometimes a charter Class 67 that comes through there. I'll definitely look into it. Part 2, which is opinion on Class 73s. The 73s, what a fantastic locomotive they are. Still unmatched with its ability to have diesel and third rail. For me, the original 73s are really, really impressive. The age of them and the fact they're still useful really proves how great of a design it was. A great British design, actually. The 73 9s are almost as good. The engines are not quite as meaty as the previous ones, even though they're actually more powerful. Any 73 is worthy of recognition, and I like both almost as much as each other. But thanks for the question, Charles. So next question comes in from 321 Dusty Bin, who asks, opinions on Class 321 non-PRM or Renaultus? I really like the Renaultus refurbishment. To be honest, I think it's probably better than the 720s which replaced them. I really like the interiors of the old 321s as well, but for me, I think I would probably have to choose the refurbished one, as it's just an overall better environment, and it's also fitted with air conditioning, which is a big plus in my opinion. But I think I know your opinion anyway, Class 321 Dusty Bin, but thanks for the question. So the next question comes from Queen of NS Coastal Division. Don't worry, I know what NS stands for, Norfolk Southern. Congrats on 10K. What is your favourite American locomotive? Oh, that is an interesting question. It's probably going to be the Siemens ACS 64 because it's so modern and sleek. I'm also quite a big fan of the Acela Express as well, and I'm really looking forward to the new ones, Liberty, Avelia Liberty, something like that. The tilting Acela Express. I think they're a real step up and are much similar to what most trains in Europe on main lines are like anyway. So that would probably be my answer for that one. Your second part of your question, do you ever plan coming over to the US? Definitely. If I was to come over to the US, it would obviously be a huge time and cost investment on my part, but I would really love to go around and tour the US anyway. I think probably the only place where I'd be able to get enough train spotting in would probably be on the Northeast Corridor. I think that would be interesting, to say the least, for my own development as well, especially since the US railways is not necessarily something I've had a huge interest in over the years, but it's something that's slowly growing on me. But thanks for the question, Queen of NS. The next question comes in from Andrew McCorquodale. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. My apologies if I haven't. Congrats! When you're filming a passing train uses their horn and the camera shakes, is that you getting a fright? Yes, it is. I mean, train horns are designed to make you aware of them. They're designed to make you kind of a little bit scared of them. I could say when I work on track, I'm obviously engineered to hear that and immediately move over. In fact, if I'm waiting until the horn comes, I've probably been a bit too late with my moving. But yeah, generally speaking, it is quite easy to look back at the video and say, oh, that wasn't a very loud horn. When it's right in front of you, and especially a Class 66 horn, it can really scare you. But thanks for your question, Andrew, and there'll definitely be more frights coming, I promise you. Next question comes from Thomas Watkis, who asks, what is the best steam train you've seen? And number 2, what is the best livery you've seen? Like I said, probably Intercity or Stagecoach. The best steam train you've seen, probably Union of South Africa or Tornado is probably right at the top of my list. Both are right there. I mean, if Mallard was in operation, it would definitely be that, but any A4 is really something on the main line, so those would take my picks. Thanks for the question, Thomas. Next question comes in from class_90 fan 044, and they ask, congrats for hitting 10,000 subscribers, thank you very much. And 2 questions. Number 1, class 92s, 90s, 88s, 87s, 86, rank from worst to best. Okay, for me, I'd probably have to go with the 90 first as being the worst of those. I don't want to say that. They're all good. Probably 90, 92, 88, 87, and then 86 for me. I think the 86 is just, I mean, 87 and 86 are similar to each other, but for me, definitely the 86 is the better one. I wish they were still on the main line, to be honest. So that's the answer to your first question. Do you think the Great Western Main Line or Midland Main Line is ever going to get AC freight? I'd be disappointed if they didn't. I think that it's almost inevitable, to be honest, that they get AC freight. I think the problem is more of when the freight gets to wherever it's going, how does it get unloaded? Because a lot of loading locations like Felixstowe, for example, are not equipped to deal with electric trains. There probably is some opportunities already where electric could be used. I think it's more a case of, at the minute, it isn't viable. But hopefully that answers your question. Oh, and by the way, I think I know what your answer to the first question would be. Class_90 fan 044. So thanks for your questions. The next question comes in from Cyberzan200, who asks, what is your favourite London National Rail station? For me, I felt like a broken record, but it'd probably be London Bridge, to be honest. It's got a bit of everything. It was better before the 455s went from Southern, and of course when the 442s used to run as well. But I think London Bridge is still up there for interest for me. I think Waterloo is very close because of the action, and at the minute the variety is really good. So yeah, it would probably be either London Bridge or Waterloo, but thanks for your question, Cyberzam. The next question comes in from Northwest Express, who asks, where is your favourite location to film? For me, it would probably be either Doncaster, Nuneaton or Peterborough. Again, they're all up there for passenger variety and freight as well. I think Stafford is probably quite high on that list as well, to be honest. Generally, most West Coast stations get a pretty good variety as long as you're not too far south. It'd probably want to be one of those three. So next question, Northwest Express. The next question comes in from Züge in Deutschland, which I think is trains in Germany. Opinion on railroad electrification and opinion on rail freight. So these are kind of related to each other, but railroad electrification, we definitely need more of it in this country. Europe is much better connected with electrification than this country is. We seem to have this fascination in the UK of just electrifying main lines and then leaving all of the other lines to kind of just deal with the aftermath. But what we really need is a fully fledged electrification scheme, which includes all branch lines and all the way down to to the terminus of the station. So my opinion is that I like it, we need more of it. Of course, I like diesel trains, I like the way they sound, I like the way they rev, I like the thrash that they create, all that sort of stuff. But in terms of looking after, the future, we definitely need to be looking at electrification schemes. The second part of this, opinion on rail freight, is kind of similar. We obviously need more of it. In this country, we don't do a very good job at enticing some of these bigger corporations like DHL, DPD, Amazon, a lot of these bigger companies to use rail freight instead of road freight, and we kind of need that to avoid congestion being built up on, well, it already is congested, but more congestion on the roads. It's kind of a wide question, but my opinion on both of those really is that we need more of them, unfortunately. So I hope that answers your question, Züge in Deutschland. The next question comes in from Craig Mitchell, 38, who asks, I have two questions. What was the highlight of your journey so far? My YouTube journey, I'd imagine. And what was the least favourite moment that you had? The highlight for me would have to be the moment that I hit 10,000 subscribers. For me, that was just it just meant an awful lot to me. Because having started this journey, you never expect to hit milestones like that. I hit 10,000 subscribers when I was filming a video as well. I was coming to the end of a video. And it's a video at Stafford, and I promise you, it is one of the best videos I think I've ever made. And I'll tell you that it was the second to last train that I recorded when I hit 10,000 subscribers. And I remember the moment I checked my phone and I saw that I'd hit 10,000. I think that was a symbolic moment for me. The second part of your question, which is about my least favourite moment, I think for me, it's in 390-121. No, my least favourite moment would probably be Dartford, where I was denied access to start filming. That was frustrating for me. There are quite a few for different reasons as well. So a long time ago I went to Bethnal Green and I was asked to leave because I needed a permit. That was a slightly frustrating moment. And also South Tottenham as well. There was meant to be a pair of 37s which were coming through on that video, but unfortunately it was cancelled at late notice. So that was the reason why that is. Oh, there's always stuff exciting on the West Coast, isn't there? There you go. That is 37510, which is running from Wembley Holding Sidings to Derby Rail Technical Centre. I think it's running as 0M57, I think it was. There's a lot of videos where I wish things would have been different, but it is the way that it is, and I always take everything with a pinch of salt and try to do everything, the correct way as much as I can, but sometimes you get bold. It's as simple as that. So the next question comes in from G-Stack, I hope I pronounced that correctly, Transport, who says, you genuinely, in my opinion, provide the most quality train spotting videos on the platform, deserving of a lot more subscribers than 10,000. Thank you. But well done. You've even inspired the way I make my videos, and I think that shows how big of an impact your channel has on some people. What can I say about that? Often mimics are the highest accreditation of any person, and I genuinely am amazed that people look at my channel and are inspired. It's something that I'm particularly proud of. It's the same way when people meet me on platforms as well and they recognise me. Feel free to say hello, by the way, if you happen to recognise me. I'm always up for a chat. But you do have a question, only one question. How do you collect the data from your videos? Do you use real-time trains and note them all down before editing, or is there another way where you can view services further in the past? If there is, I'd love if you said which. So yeah, I've kind of already answered this question. What I do is I usually film the videos paying attention to what I see. I don't note down anything usually as I go unless there's a particular set of unit numbers or locos which is going to be difficult for me to either see later on or figure out what it was. Is there a way you can see services further back? There is a method that I've used previously, which is where if you open a real-time trains page and you alter the date, if you look for the date, it should be pretty obvious where it's got day, month, year. You can change the date to either a weekday or a weekend that's similar, and you should be able to see what service, what unit ran that service. Other than that, there isn't a way that I've found yet of being able to see the full real-time trains page further than a week back. But I hope that answers your question, G-Stack Transport. Thank you very much. The next question comes from Jay Emmett, who asks, congratulations on 10k. Thank you very much. What is your favourite London terminus? I really do feel like a broken record. London Bridge or Waterloo. Have you ever considered filming on the tube? I have considered it before, but I quite like having a variety of different types of trains in my videos, so I usually only include London Underground if it's a mainline station which happens to have an attachment of London Underground, such as Paddington or Harrow and Wheatston or South Kenton or any of those. So for now, I'm not considering doing any deep level or any isolated tube stations unless I happen to have a lot of time on my hands and I'm interested in doing it at the time. Come to think of it, maybe if I can get some battery locos at the same time, that might be more interesting. I'm not sure. Thanks for your question though, Jay. The next question comes from Oliver, who simply asks, what is the best and worst stations you have visited? Your best, like I said, probably going to be Doncaster, Peterborough or Clapham Junction. The worst station? There are a lot of bad stations in this country. Probably St Pancras or Norwich as well. Norwich is not a good station now. I don't mean bad for the angles or the sight lines or anything like that. I'm talking specifically about the variety. Back in 2016, 2017, even 2018, you were able to see a lot of different units, 90s. You may have seen the occasional 37 as well. So Norwich is not what it used to be, and that's probably on my list of worst stations that I've been to anyway. I can't think of any more off the top of my head, but yeah, St Pancras is definitely up there for being segregated as well. So thanks for your question though, Oliver. The next question comes in from Ben Wright, who asks, do you give drivers a wave when they come past? I try to as best as I can, but because I'm handheld with the camera, I've got one hand on the stability and the other hand on the side of the camera. It's often difficult to give drivers a wave. If I happen to be able to let go of my left hand, I'll give them a bit of a wave. It's not always easy to do. It's much easier to give drivers a wave if you happen to have another person with you. But most of the time, I don't, believe it or not. So, thanks for your question though, Ben. The next question comes in from Joel Bodonna Blanco, who says, hi Ross, I've been watching your videos for so long and I feel like you do such good quality content. Thank you so much. You must be very proud of your 10,000 subscribers. I am too. It's now 11,000 subscribers actually, and yeah, I think of every single viewer as a person, whether you're subscribed or not, by the way, and 86% of you aren't subscribed, but I appreciate every single person that watches my videos, and whether you leave a comment or not, whether it's positive or not, I really appreciate everything that gets said, and I really appreciate all of the loving and kind words that you will give me. It really does keep me going. I can't say that enough. But you do have a question though, Joel. The day the UK electrifies all the lines, do you think diesel trains like the Class HST will actually disappear? I want to say no, but the chances are they probably would in that circumstance. I mean, a lot of people said that the HSTs would pretty much be gone as soon as it finished passenger service. But as we see with Rail Adventure, who has taken on a load of power cars for freight use, there's always an opportunity for old locos to be repurposed. So the answer to your question would probably be yes, but with a caveat. Hope this isn't too much. I'm looking forward to doing to doing more subscriber special videos. Have a nice day, mate. Yes, have a nice day as well, Joel. Thank you very much for your loving words and your kind comment as well. Thank you. The next question comes in from Air Taxi A370, who says, congrats on 10,000, mate. Been wondering, what is your favourite mainline? Also, what are your thoughts on Avanti replacing their Voyagers with IETs? Thanks for providing us with hours of entertainment, and here's to the next 10k. Thank you very much for your kind comments, Air Taxi. My favourite mainline would probably be the West Coast, just because of the variety you've probably already seen in this video, but also just the fact there's something going on all the time. I think the Voyagers do need to be replaced overall. I will miss them because I think in terms of comfort, the Voyagers are better because of the larger windows, and I think the seats were probably better on the Voyagers than in the IETs. But I think the arrangements with the seats should be very similar to what the Pendolino refurbishment is, but I'm not sure about what services they'll be used on and whether or not they'll run around as 5-car or 10-car joined up sets. But I do agree using electrified trains on electrified lines is kind of logical, at least until High Speed 2 is built anyway. So thanks for your question, Air Taxi. And that brings us to the end of this question and answer video. Thank you everybody for commenting your loving words of encouragement as well, and your congratulations to me. Thank you also everybody for leaving your questions as well. I've managed to get through quite a few of them, so hopefully you've learned some interesting things about me. Maybe some things which you didn't expect, and maybe some that you did. But until then, I'll catch you all in the next video. See you later, guys.